Resourceful Designer, episode 303, Following Up with Dormant Clients.
Welcome to the Resourceful Designer podcast, offering solutions to streamline your graphic and web design business so you can get back to designing. And now, your host, he voiced Officer Number 1 in the audio drama podcast from Observer Pictures called Boom, Mark Dickhout.
Yep, and if I remember correctly, my line went something like this. It's the last door on the left. Now, surprisingly enough, I was not nominated for any awards for my performance. Oh well, maybe next time. In this episode of Resourceful Designer, I want to talk about triggers and the importance of following up with dormant clients, and how doing so can play a key role in the growth of your design business. But before I get to that, I'm very happy to share that this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Sticker Mule. Now, as a designer, don't you just love seeing your creations come to life? I know I do. There's this feeling of accomplishment when you see your work in the real world, be it a billboard or a website, a vehicle wrap, or a sticker like the ones from Sticker Mule. Now, it's very satisfying to hold something you designed in your hands, and even more so when that something is of high quality like Sticker Mule stickers. Now, I know you can't see this right now, but I'm actually holding one of their stickers in my hand. It's one I had made of my podcast branding logo. And let me tell you, these are not cheap and flimsy stickers. I'm not the least bit worried when I peel off the back of this sticker that I may accidentally rip it. And that's because Sticker Mule stickers are some of the highest quality in the industry. They're made of a weatherproof vinyl that makes them extremely durable, so they won't scuff, scratch, or fade. Now, this nice finish makes them suitable for both indoor and outdoor use, so you can stick them on, say, a laptop or on the outside of your vehicle. The possibilities are endless. And right now, Sticker Mule is giving you a special offer to see for yourself. Resourceful Designer listeners can get 10 custom stickers for just $1. You heard me right, that's 10 stickers for $1. All you have to do to get this deal is visit stickermule.com/resourcefuldesigner. That's stickermule.com/resourcefuldesigner. Don't wait. Go ahead. You can pause this podcast right now. Go place your order. I'll wait for you. Once again, that's stickermule.com/resourcefuldesigner. Thank you, Sticker Mule, for sponsoring this episode. And now, following up with dormant clients. Let me ask you something. How often do you follow up with dormant clients? Now, I'm not talking dormant like they haven't replied to an email in a few days, although it's always a good idea to follow up when you don't receive an expected reply. I'm talking about following up with dormant clients months or even years after you've completed whatever project you did for them. Way back in episode 72 of the podcast, I talked about getting work from existing clients. If you're looking for new work, it's a proven fact that it's much easier to get it from an existing client than to try to land a brand new client. After all, you don't have to worry about that awkward introductory phase since you and the client already know each other. You already have a proven track record together, so you both know what to expect. Now, if you haven't listened to episode 72 at resourcefuldesigner.com/episode 72, or maybe it's been a while since you've heard it, it did come out over 5 years ago, I suggest you go have a listen to it again. It's valuable information that can really help your business. But for some reason, even though it's much easier to get new work from existing clients, many designers don't actively seek out that work. Why is that? Well, you may be thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to bother them. The client already knows me. If they have more work for me, they'll contact me. But that's not always the case. I'm not saying they won't contact you when they have more work. They probably will. The problem is, clients don't always realize they have work for you. What? What are you talking about, Mark? No, it's true. It's a case of out of sight, out of mind. Your dormant client isn't thinking about you. Therefore, they aren't thinking about the work they could be sending you. I want to run an experiment with you right now. Last week, I went to the dentist for a checkup. I'm happy to say that they found nothing wrong with my teeth, but I'm glad I had it done. Dental hygiene is important. And once the checkup was over, I scheduled a new appointment for 9 months' time from now for a follow-up cleaning. Now, let me ask you this. Did you just think about your dentist and your next appointment? Chances are you did. Maybe you thought about an upcoming appointment you have, or perhaps it made you think that maybe you should make an appointment if you don't already have one. Regardless, I'm pretty sure, even if only briefly, you thought about your own teeth. Why is that? It's because of triggers. Triggers, the verb, not the thing that you squeeze to fire a gun. But trigger, the verb, is something that can connect one event to another. My mention of my dental appointment triggered a thought in you about your own dental hygiene. If I was to say I recently had the tires on my car changed because the thread was worn out, you probably just started wondering about the tires on your car. If I say I have no idea what I'm having for dinner tonight, now you're probably thinking about your next meal. Well, unless you're still thinking about your car's tires. Come on, keep up, will you? All of these are because of triggers. Our day is full of them. Most of the time, you don't even realize they're there. But triggers influence you in many ways. Triggers are often the correlation between one thing and another. And that brings me back to following up with dormant clients. Remember when I said that the problem is clients don't always realize they have work for you? It's because they don't have anything to correlate that work with. And that's very easy to fix. Just like me mentioning my dentist probably made you think of your dentist, reconnecting with a client can trigger them to find new work for you. Remember, out of sight, out of mind. When a client isn't thinking of you, they're not thinking of the projects that you can do for them. The solution is to get them to think of you, and you can do that by following up. Now, some of us in the Resourceful Designer community are currently beta testing a weekly accountability group. It's where we share both long-term and short-term goals. We meet once per week for only 10 to 15 minutes, and each person shares one thing they want to accomplish before our next weekly meeting. This could be something small like adding a new case study to their website, or creating a couple of social media posts, or getting organized for a presentation. The object is to share something you want to be held accountable for, because the following week, you have to share whether or not you actually completed that goal. Well, 2 weeks ago, my goal was to reach out and reconnect with at least 4 dormant clients. I ended up emailing 6 of them. These were long-standing clients. Their, for lack of a better term, dormancy range was from 6 months ago to maybe a couple of years since the last project I did for them. Now, when I sent my emails, I didn't ask them if they had more work for me. I just inquired about how they were doing. And in a couple of cases, I asked if they were happy with the last project I did for them. Now, over the following few days after sending those emails, 3 of them replied back with work for me. One asked me if I could update their flyer, the one I had created a few years ago. Another one asked me to give their website a refresh, not necessarily a redesign, but they wanted to change up some of the text and some of the images on the website. And the other one set up a meeting with me for next week to discuss a brand new project. Now, all 3 of these people thanked me for reaching out, and they told me that they would not have contacted me anytime soon. But my email triggered, there's that word, it triggered an interest in these projects. One of them even told me that he didn't even realize that he wanted his website updated until he received my email. Oh, and of the other 3 emails I sent out, 2 of them got back to me thanking me for reaching out, and they actually asked me to contact them again in January when their new fiscal year starts. So I added that to my calendar to contact them again. And the last one told me that times were tough and that business isn't going very well for him, but he thanked me very much. He appreciated me checking in. So 6 emails, 3 new projects and 2 possible projects to come in the new year. Not a bad return for a few minutes I spent composing emails to them. And it was all because of triggers. Receiving an email from me triggered something that made them realize there was work they could give me. Funny how that works. So how exactly do you follow up? Now, as I said, when I reached out to these clients, I didn't ask them if they had work for me. I made the email about them, not about me. For one of them, I asked how the website I designed was working out for them. Was it bringing in the business they hoped? Now, the funny thing is I call this one a dormant client, but they are on my monthly website maintenance plan. So technically they're a current client, but I hadn't talked to them in over 6 months. So I emailed them anyways. And they told me they're very, very pleased with the site and they were happy I reached out. And they're the ones that asked me to make some changes to it. Now, one of the clients is a retail outlet that was affected by the pandemic. I asked them how things were going now, and he said that things were finally picking up. He's the one that set up a meeting for next week. And another is a local membership association. I hadn't talked to them in, it must have been more than 2 years. So I inquired how the pandemic had affected them. Well, things are ramping up again. Their membership association is becoming more active, and now they're the ones who want me to update their flyer. Clients appreciate it when you think about them. If you email them asking if they have work for you, they'll see right through it. It sounds pleading, and they may not respond. But if you make your message about them without asking for anything in return, they'll genuinely appreciate the thought behind it. That's how you build relationships. And we all know that these client relationships are very important in our business. And that's how you get more work from dormant clients. It doesn't matter if it's been a couple of months or a few years. Reach out to your old clients and ask them how they're doing. Show them you care. You never know. You might just get some work out of it. Triggers. It's funny how those things work. Now go make that dental appointment. Now, before I go, I'm hoping to trigger you into checking out the Resourceful Designer community. As I mentioned, we're testing out a weekly accountability group, which we're going to be introducing to the whole community very soon. And those in this group have saying that it's been very beneficial to them. So it's just one more perk to being a member of the community. So if you are serious about your business, if you want your design business to grow, and you want fellow like-minded designers to help you with that, then consider joining the community today at resourcefuldesigner.com/community. And I want to thank Sticker Mules for sponsoring this episode. Once again, you can get 10 free stickers for $1 by visiting stickermule.com/resourcefuldesigner. So that's it for me. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And please let me know if you do reach out to your dormant clients, what the results are. In the meantime, I am Mark Decote wishing you all the best with your design business and reminding you to stay creative.
Thanks for listening to the Resourceful Designer podcast at resourcefuldesigner.com.